Hi guys, it's Miss Pepworth. This week our journey story, we're reading out of our Journeys book and we're reading Two of Everything. This is our story for this week, Two of Everything. We are on page 487. 487. The story is Two of Everything. So go ahead and get out your Journeys book, turn to page 487, follow along in your book as I read this book. Two of Everything. Once, long ago, in a humble little hut, lived Mr. Hacktack and his wife, Mrs. Hacktack. They were very old and very poor. What little they ate came from their tiny garden. In a lucky year, when the harvest was plentiful, Mr. Hacktack had a little extra to take to the village. There he traded turnips, potatoes, and other vegetables for clothing, lamp oil, and fresh seeds. One spring morning, when Mr. Hacktack was digging in his garden, his shovel struck something hard. Puzzled, he dug deeper into the dark ground until he came upon an ancient pot made of brass. "How odd," said Mr. Hacktack to himself. "To think that I have been digging here all these years and never came upon this pot before. I will take it home. Maybe Miss Hacktack can find some use for it." The pot was big and heavy for old Mr. Hacktack. As he stumbled along, his purse, which contained the last 5 gold coins, fell to the ground. He tossed it into the pot for safekeeping and staggered home. His wife greeted him at the door. "Dear husband, what a strange pot." Mr. Hacktack explained how he had found the pot. "I wonder what we can do with it," said Mrs. Hacktack. "It looks too large to cook in and too small to bathe in." As Mrs. Hacktack, we're on this page 492, as Miss Hacktack leaned over to peer into the pot, her hairpin, the only one she owned, fell in. She felt around the pot and suddenly her eyes grew round with surprise. "Look," she shouted, "I've pulled out 2 hairpins exactly alike and 2 purses too." Sure enough, the purses were identical and so were the hairpins, and inside each purse were 5 gold coins. Mr. Hacktack was so excited he jumped up and down. Let's put my winter coat inside the pot. If we are lucky again, the pot will make 2 coats, and then we'll both stay warm." So into the pot went 1 coat, and out of the pot came 2 coats. They began to search the house and quickly put more things into the magical pot. "Oh, if only we had some meat," wished Mr. Hacktack, "or fresh fruit, or 1 delicious sweet cake." Mrs. Hacktack smiled. "I know how we can get anything we want," she said. She put their 10 coins into the purse, and then she threw it into the pot. She pulled out 2 purses with 10 coins in each. "What a clever wife I have," cried Mr. Hacktack. "Each time we do this, we'll have twice as much money as we have now." The Hacktacks worked late into the night, filling and emptying the pot until the floor was covered with coins. Page 495 right here. Morning came, and off went Mr. Hacktack. Excuse me. Off went Mr. Hacktack with a long list of things to buy in the village. Instead of vegetables, his basket was full of gold coins. Mrs. Hacktack finished all of her choice and sat down to enjoy a cup of tea. She sipped her tea and admired the brass pot. Then, with a grateful heart, she knelt and embraced it. "Dear pot, I do not know where you came from, but you are my best friend." And she stooped over the pot to look inside. At that very moment, Mr. Hacktack returned. His arms were so full of packages that he had to kick the door open. Bang! Mrs. Hacktack was so startled that she lost her balance and fell headfirst into the pot. Mr. Hacktack ran over and grabbed his wife's legs. He pulled and he tugged until she slid out onto the floor. But when he looked at the pot again, he gasped. 2 more legs were sticking straight out of it. Naturally, he took a hold of the ankles and pulled, and out came a second person. She looked exactly like his wife. Oops. The new Mrs. Hacktack sat silently on the floor looking lost. But the first Mrs. Hacktack cried, "I am your one and only wife. Put that woman back in the pot right now." Mr. Hacktack yelled, "No, if I put her back, we will not have 2 women, but 3. One wife is not enough for me. He backed away from his angry one wife is enough for me. He backed away from his angry wife and he tripped and he fell head first into the pot himself. Both of Mrs. Hacktax rushed to rescue him. Each grasped an ankle and together they pulled him out. There were 2 more legs in the pot, so they pulled out the other Mr. Hacktack too. What use does one Mr. Hacktack have for another? Mr. Hacktack cried angrily. This pot is not as wonderful as we thought it to be. Now even our troubles are beginning to double. But his wife began thinking while he was yelling. So here's the problem. There's 2 Mr. Hacktacks and 2 Mrs. Hacktacks. What are they going to do? She's thinking about a solution. What would you do? What would you do? Calm down, she said. It is good that the other Mrs. Hacktack has her own Mr. Hacktack. Perhaps we will become best of friends. After all, we're so alike. He will be a brother to you, and she will be a sister to me. With our pot, we can make 2 of everything, so there will be plenty to go around. And that's what they did. The Hacktacks built 2 fine new homes. Each house had identical teapots, rice bowls, silk embroideries, and bamboo furniture. And from the outside, the houses looked exactly alike, but there was one difference. Hidden in one house was a big brass pot. Of course, the Hacktacks were always very careful not to fall in again. And there they all are, the new Mr. and Mrs. Hacktack and the old Mr. and Mrs. Hacktack. 2 of everything, this story was called. The new Hacktacks and the old Hacktacks did become good friends. The neighbors thought that the Hacktacks had grown so rich they decided to have 2 of everything, even themselves. That's the end. So this story is called 2 of Everything. It's in our Journeys book. It's our Journeys story for the week. It's a folk tale from China. So happy reading this week. Happy week. I miss you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.